Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, your piggy bank, or maybe in that old drawer you haven't opened in years. It's small. It's shiny. It's a quarter. But not just any quarter, we're talking about the United States of America state quarter from 2007, representing the wild, vast, and breathtaking state of Montana. Now, before you assume this is just another piece of loose change, let me ask you a question. What if that humble-looking coin turned out to be a hidden treasure? What if that single quarter, worn smooth by time or resting untouched in a coin album, could be worth thousands of dollars? Stick with me, because the story of this Montana quarter is more than metal and mint. It's a tale of American heritage, hidden errors, and a staggering surprise that we'll reveal at the end.so. Let's take a journey back to 2007. The U.S. Mint was in the middle of releasing one of its most beloved coin programs, the 50 State Quarters series. Each quarter celebrated the identity of a different state. When it was Montana's turn, the design they chose was as powerful and mysterious as the land itself. If you've ever seen it, you'll remember that haunting image at the center, a large bison skull floating above sweeping open plains and snow-capped mountains. Above the skull, the words "Big Sky Country" remind us of Montana's endless horizons and natural majesty, but that bison skull, it's not just a dramatic design choice. It's a symbol loaded with meaning. The American bison was once a dominant presence in the Western Plains, deeply connected to the Native American tribes that called this land home. The skull is a nod to both the history and sacrifice of the American frontier and the natural cycle of life and death on the plains. It's somber. It's majestic. And it sets the Montana quarter apart from all the others in the series. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. When these coins were minted, millions were produced, circulated widely across the country. To the average person, this Montana quarter was just another quarter. A way to buy a soda, feed a parking meter, or add to a growing coin collection. But not every Montana quarter is created equal. Some quarters from this 2007 release contain tiny minting errors, imperfections that happened during the striking process at the U.S. Mint. These errors can be incredibly subtle: a doubled image, a misaligned die, an off-center strike, or a piece of extra metal where it doesn't belong. To an untrained eye, they may look like nothing. But to a coin collector, especially one with a trained eye, these flaws can turn an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Add to that the factor of condition. Most coins, even rare ones, get scratched, scuffed, or worn down in everyday circulation. But if you're lucky enough to find a Montana quarter that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, maybe one that was kept in a collector's case, never touched by human hands, never tumbled in a pocket or drawer, then you've got something special. And when that perfect condition meets a rare mint error? That's when things get really exciting. Coin grading agencies like PCGS or NGC assign numerical grades to coins based on their condition, with a perfect 70 being the holy grail. Only a few Montana quarters have ever come close to this level of perfection, and even fewer have done so with an error that sets them apart from the rest. These rare combinations of condition and flaw have created a quiet storm in the collector's market. Over the past few years, word has spread among numismatists, collectors, and auction houses. People started digging through old jars, inspecting every Montana quarter under magnifying glasses, looking for signs of a rare strike or a minting mistake. And in the shadows of these searches, something incredible happened. One of these Montana quarters, a coin no different in size or shape than the one you might overlook every day, was discovered with a rare mint error, preserved in an almost perfect condition. It caught the eye of a serious collector, and it made its way to auction. Now here comes the moment you've been waiting for. How much could one of these rare, error-marked, perfectly preserved Montana quarters actually sell for? Well, that small, shiny piece of metal was sold for a jaw-dropping amount. The final price? $45,000. That's right. A simple quarter. Just 25 cents in face value. Sold for $45,000 So next time you're handed a quarter in change, don't just drop it in your pocket. Take a good look at it. Check the date. Examine the design. Because you never know, your next soda machine coin could be the key to a life-changing discovery. Thanks for joining me on this incredible coin journey. If you enjoyed this story and want more hidden treasures and collector secrets, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this, and turn on the bell so you never miss a future surprise. Who knows, your next great find might already be sitting in your pocket. Happy collecting, and I'll see you in the next one. Top 2. We're unlocking the story of a coin that you might have passed by 100 times without a second thought. But after this video, you might never look at your change the same way again. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever held a simple quarter in your hand and wondered if it could be something more, something rare, something valuable, something historic? Because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2002 Louisiana State Quarter, one of the most unique and surprisingly sought-after coins in the entire 50-state quarters program. You may think, it's just another state quarter, right? Well, not quite. The Louisiana quarter tells a deeper story, one that reflects a moment in time, a cultural treasure, and a historical turning point for the United States. And believe it or not, one particular version of this coin could be worth more than a brand new car. Stick around, because you're going to want to hear every detail of this tale before we reveal the value that could blow your mind. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. The U.S. Mint had launched the iconic 50-state quarters program, celebrating each state with a design that captured its spirit, its pride, and its legacy. In 2002, it was Louisiana's time to shine. Take a close look at the design on this coin, and you'll see it's packed with meaning. Front and center is the image of the Louisiana Purchase, the historic land deal from 1803 that doubled the size of the United States. You'll see a pair of hands exchanging a document, symbolizing the agreement between France and the U.S. to transfer a massive portion of North America. Behind them, you'll notice an outline of the newly acquired territory, which included what would become 15 states. This wasn't just a purchase, it was a defining moment in American expansion, but that's not all. One of the most eye-catching parts of the design is the legendary pelican, Louisiana's state bird, soaring with grace above the rest. It represents the resilience and rich wildlife of the region. And floating on the waters beneath the pelican? A trumpet, an unmistakable tribute to Louisiana's most iconic cultural contribution, jazz.so. This isn't just a coin. It's history. It's art. It's music. It's the story of a state that helped shape America's culture, geography, and rhythm. But what transforms this coin from historical to extraordinary? You guessed it, rarity and condition. While millions of Louisiana quarters were minted and distributed across the country, not all of them were created equal. Some left the mint with small imperfections. Maybe the design was struck slightly off-center. Maybe the layers of metal didn't bond quite right. Maybe there was a doubling effect in the text or the image. These so-called mint errors, when they occur, can make a coin truly one of a kind. And here's the key: when a coin like this also happens to be in pristine, uncirculated condition, flawless, untarnished, and perfectly preserved, it becomes a collector's dream. That combination of rarity and perfection sends its value soaring far above its face value. Now, here's where it gets truly exciting. Over the years, numismatists and expert collectors began to notice a few rare versions of the 2002 Louisiana quarter turning up at shows and auctions. They weren't just any quarters, they had distinct minting flaws. Some had doubling in the word Louisiana. Others showed extra metal at the edges or slight die clashes. These errors were rare enough. But the ones that remained in near-perfect condition? Those were next-level rare. Imagine holding a coin that was meant to be spent on a candy bar, but instead, ended up in a protective case, admired by experts, and hunted by collectors willing to pay serious money to own it. It's happened. And not just once. In fact, one of these rare Louisiana state quarters was authenticated by a top grading service and labeled as a mint error coin in nearly perfect condition. It went to auction with whispers and excitement. Bidders lined up. Phones rang. Offers climbed, and then, the final hammer dropped. That small, shiny quarter, one you might overlook on your dresser or find in an old roll of coins, was sold for an unbelievable sum of money. That humble 25-cent piece sold for $53,000. Yes, you heard me right. $53,000 for a single Louisiana quarter from 2002.so. The next time you're sorting through change, keep your eyes open. Look for the date. Check for unusual markings. Inspect the edges. Because hidden among those common coins could be a rare gem worth more than you ever imagined. Top 3. We're digging into a fascinating coin that's more than just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of America's beginnings. Let's talk about the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter. Now you might be thinking, a state quarter? Really? Didn't they make millions of those? And yes, they did. But like every great treasure story, there's always something special hidden beneath the surface. Because as common as it might seem, a single version of this 1999 Pennsylvania quarter has turned out to be anything but ordinary. To understand why, we need to rewind a bit. Back in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50 State Quarters program, an ambitious initiative that would change the way people looked at their coins. For the first time ever, each state would be honored with its own unique quarter design, and the coins would be released in the order each state joined the Union. Pennsylvania was second in line, following Delaware, and its coin hit circulation early that year. Now let's pause for a moment and appreciate the historical weight behind this state. Pennsylvania isn't just another name on the map, it's a cornerstone of American history. The Declaration of Independence was signed there. The Liberty Bell rang there. The Constitution was drafted there. So when it came time to design the Pennsylvania quarter, the symbolism had to be powerful, and the coin features the outline of the state with an image of the Commonwealth statue, a graceful female figure holding a staff and wearing a draped gown. This statue stands atop the Pennsylvania state capitol in Harrisburg and represents the strength and justice of the state's government. Also included in the design is a keystone, which is Pennsylvania's official nickname, the Keystone State. This refers to its central role in holding the original 13 colonies together. Like the keystone in an arch, simple but elegant, the design carries weight far beyond its small size. Now let's talk about why this quarter has become such a hot topic in the world of coin collectors. So first off, 1999 marked the very beginning of the State Quarter series. And as any collector knows, first-year issues are always important. Coins from the first year of a series tend to be more desirable, especially as time goes on. But the Pennsylvania quarter has something even more intriguing going for it, something that has nothing to do with how many were made, and everything to do with how some were made, because while most Pennsylvania quarters were struck without issue and entered circulation like any normal coin, a very small number left the U.S. Mint with subtle errors. And in the coin world, those errors can be pure gold. We're talking about things like off-center strikes, doubled dies, and misaligned prints, flaws that occurred during the minting process. These aren't the kind of things you'd notice right away. You might need a magnifying glass or a trained eye. But if you spot one, you're looking at a coin that's no longer worth just 25 cents, but it doesn't stop there. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. Most quarters, even if they have a rare error, have been passed through hundreds of hands. They've been scratched, dropped, tossed in vending machines. But a precious few, have survived in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition. Now imagine combining those two traits. A 1999 Pennsylvania quarter that has a rare mint error and has been graded by a professional service as being in near-perfect condition. That's not just rare, it's almost mythical in the collector's world. And when collectors see that kind of coin go up for sale, they don't just get interested, they get competitive. Over the years, whispers started spreading about a few ultra-rare versions of this quarter, ones that hadn't just been kept safe but were nearly flawless and featured noticeable minting flaws. These coins sparked bidding wars. Collectors across the country were desperate to add one to their collections, and that leads us to one of the most incredible moments in modern coin collecting. One of these 1999 Pennsylvania quarters, beautifully preserved, carefully authenticated, and featuring a verified minting error, went up for auction. The room was buzzing. Offers flew in from private collectors, dealers, and even museums. And when the gavel finally came down, well, let's just say jaws dropped. That tiny piece of metal, a coin that started out with a face value of just 25 cents, was sold for an astonishing $65,000. That's right. $65,000 US. Next time you get change at the grocery store, or you're digging through an old stash of coins, take a moment. Check the date. Look at the details. Examine the edges and inscriptions. Because you never know, what looks like ordinary change might just be an extraordinary find. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this coin journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more stories about rare coins hiding in plain sight. Who knows? The next valuable coin could be right in your own pocket. Happy hunting, and keep your eyes on your quarters.